In the city of Noctvale, progress was measured in lumens. Neon towers scraped the heavens, the sky shimmered with manufactured constellations, and it was all powered by a single, mysterious red crystal, the Bloodlight. It promised endless day, a world without shadow. But light, as the people of Noctvale were about to learn, casts the darkest shadows of all. On the night of the great eclipse, the impossible happened. The Bloodlight, the heart of the city, cracked, splitting perfectly in two. From one half, a being of pure energy was born. Her name was Lucent, the harbinger of radiance. Her veins glowed with power, her eyes were molten gold, and her very presence was a promise of blinding purity. But from the other half, something else crawled into existence. It was Vornyx, the Wraith of Darkness, a creature of living smoke and whispers that could unravel a man's sanity. They were fragments of the same cataclysmic creation, two halves of a single terrible curse, destined to tear their world apart. The storm began not with thunder, but with an eerie silence. High above the glittering spires of Noctvale, Lucent hovered, her form flickering between the shape of a woman and a starburst of raw energy. The sky itself seemed to tremble with the rhythm of her radiant heartbeat. Down below, in the canyons between skyscrapers, the shadows began to writhe and coil like serpents. And from that churning abyss, Vornyx rose. His voice was the sound of cracking bone, a dry, grating whisper that carried on the wind. "You burn too bright, sister," he hissed. "It's time the world remembered the solace of the dark." Lucent's voice was a clear, ringing chime of defiance. "Then I will remind it why light exists." The very air between them warped. Vornyx's smoky form exploded into dozens of shadow clones, each a perfect silhouette of terror, crawling across the glass and steel walls of the city. In response, Lucent unleashed a blinding pulse of light, an incandescent wave that washed over everything. The city's power grid screamed in protest. Buildings flickered violently between brilliant light and absolute blackness. Every street lamp, every neon sign suddenly became a weapon, firing concentrated beams of burning plasma into the swarming shadows below. The war for Noctvale had begun, but Vornyx was not a creature to be fought with simple energy. He fed on something far more potent, fear. With every scream that echoed from the streets below, with every terrified, frantic heartbeat, he grew stronger, his form becoming more solid, more defined. He moved through walls like a phantom, a whisper of smoke that could slip through any crack. He pulled terrified civilians from their homes, from the very streets they walked, dragging them into the suffocating dark. All that remained were their lingering echoes, a chilling testament to his power. Lucent, a beacon of desperate hope, followed the screams. Light blazed from her fingertips, incinerating the shadows where she flew. But every time she illuminated a darkened alleyway, a new horror awaited her. The faces of the missing, the people she was trying to save, appeared on the walls, their features grotesquely stitched together in the very shadows she fought. They whispered her name in a chorus of agony. "Lucent," they moaned, their voices a symphony of despair. "You made us burn. You left us in the dark." Her resolve wavered. Her brilliant light flickered just for a moment. And in that instant of hesitation, Vornyx struck. A tendril of pure darkness slammed into her, throwing her into the side of a skyscraper with bone-shattering force. Glass rained down like a cyclone of glittering ash and light. The impact was so powerful, it blacked out half the city, plunging millions into the very darkness they feared. Vornyx floated toward her, his face a shifting, horrifying void. "Light always dies first," he rasped. But as he loomed over her broken form, Lucent's eyes snapped open, burning with defiant gold through the gloom. "Not while I still breathe," she declared. A solar scream ripped from her throat, a wave of pure energy that vaporized the shadows around her. But even through the deafening explosion, Vornyx's chilling laughter echoed, undiminished. As their apocalyptic battle raged across the wounded city, the two shattered halves of the Bloodlight crystal, resting on separate rooftops, began to pulse. They thrummed in sympathy with the rage and power of their children. Vornyx was the first to act. He seized his dark half, pressing the jagged crystal directly into his chest. His form erupted in black lightning as shadows bent reality itself around him. Not to be outdone, Lucent claimed her peace. As the radiant crystal merged with her, her veins glowed white-hot, her physical form dissolving until she ascended into a being of pure, blinding energy. They were no longer just light and dark. They had become gods of terror. They collided in the sky, directly over the heart of Noctvale. A concentrated beam of celestial light met a tidal wave of living darkness. The resulting explosion was silent but absolute, turning the dead of night into a blood-red dawn. For a single terrifying moment, everything froze. And then, silence fell over the ruined city. When the crimson smoke finally cleared, only the Bloodlight crystal remained, resting on the ground below, whole once more. There was no sign of Lucent, no trace of Vornyx. They were gone, but their war was far from over. On every reflective surface across Noctvale, in mirrors, in the glass of shattered windows, even in the puddles of rain on the street, their figures flickered faintly. Two eternal enemies, forever watching, forever waiting. Because light and shadow are never truly gone. From light, fear was born. From darkness, a terrible truth awoke. And when gods of horror collide, the world itself forgets which side to pray for. Until next time, stay vigilant.